Welcome to Language Swap, everyone, a fun way to learn English. We are so excited to have you join us today.
Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Alex.
And I'm Sally. And Alex, today's episode is one of those genuinely practical ones, the kind where knowing the right words isn't just helpful, it can actually matter a lot.
Okay, that sounds serious. What are we covering today?
At the doctor, English that could save your life. Medical vocabulary describing symptoms, understanding what the doctor is asking you, and knowing exactly what to say in an emergency.
Oh, wow. Yes, this is one of those topics where being vague or misunderstood can genuinely have real consequences, not just an awkward conversation.
Exactly. Think about it. If you're in pain or scared or dealing with something serious that's already hard enough in your first language, doing it in your second language adds a whole extra layer of stress.
And medical English specifically has its own vocabulary that almost never overlaps with everyday conversation. You could be completely fluent in casual English and still freeze up describing a symptom accurately.
So today we're building your medical toolkit. Vocabulary for symptoms, questions doctors typically ask, how to describe pain specifically, and critical emergency phrases everyone should have ready.
Let's get into it, because this one genuinely matters. Let's start with the basics describing that something is wrong in the first place, before we even get specific.
I'm not feeling well. The most basic, versatile starting phrase works for almost any situation where something feels off. I'm not feeling well, I think I need to see someone.
Something's not right. A slightly more urgent version, often used when you can't quite identify what's wrong, but you know it's not normal. Something's not right, my chest feels strange.
I've been feeling off for a few days. Useful for describing something that's been building gradually rather than appearing suddenly, gives the doctor a timeline right away.
Now, let's move into describing specific symptoms because this is where precision really matters.
I have a fever. Simple and essential. If you know your actual temperature, adding it helps enormously. I have a fever, it's around 102.
I feel nauseous, feeling like you might vomit. Different from I feel sick, which is more general. Nauseous is specific to that stomach-turning feeling.
I threw up or I vomited. Direct, clear, medically necessary information. Doctors need to know this specifically, not just that you feel bad in general.
I have chills, feeling cold and shivery often alongside a fever. I have chills and my whole body aches.
My whole body aches. Describes widespread pain, often associated with flu or infection. Different from pain in one specific location.
I have a sore throat. Simple, common, and one of the first phrases most language learners pick up. For good reason. It comes up constantly.
I'm congested, or my nose is stuffed up, describing nasal congestion. I'm so congested I can barely breathe through my nose.
I have a runny nose, the opposite problem, nasal discharge rather than blockage. Both are incredibly common and useful to distinguish.
I'm dizzy, or I feel lightheaded, describing that spinning or unsteady feeling. This one is important to communicate clearly because it can indicate several different things.
I'm short of breath, difficulty breathing normally. This phrase specifically should be in everyone's emergency vocabulary because it can signal something serious.
Now, let's talk about describing pain specifically, because doctors ask very particular questions about pain, and having the vocabulary ready makes everything faster and clearer.
On a scale of 1 to 10, almost every doctor in an English-speaking context will ask this. Having your number ready, even roughly, helps enormously. It's about a 7 right now.
Sharp pain versus dull pain. Two completely different sensations that doctors need distinguished. Sharp is sudden and intense, like a stab. Dull is a constant lower-level ache.
It comes and goes versus it's constant. Whether the pain is intermittent or continuous is crucial diagnostic information. The pain comes and goes, it's not constant.
It's throbbing, a pulsing, rhythmic pain often associated with headaches or injuries. I have a throbbing headache on the right side.
It's radiating. When pain spreads from one area to another, the pain started in my chest and it's radiating down my arm. This specific phrase, by the way, is genuinely important to know for emergencies.
It hurts when I followed by an action. It hurts when I breathe deeply. It hurts when I press here. Extremely useful for helping a doctor locate and understand the problem.
Now, let's cover the questions doctors typically ask because understanding the question is just as important as answering it correctly.
What are your symptoms? The opening question in almost every appointment. Have your list ready even mentally before you walk in?
When did this start? Asking for a timeline, having a specific answer ready. 3 days ago, this morning, about a week ago, speeds everything up enormously.
Have you taken anything for it? Asking about medications you've already tried. I took some ibuprofen, but it didn't really help.
Do you have any allergies? Absolutely critical to answer accurately and completely. This is not a moment for guessing or forgetting details.
Are you currently taking any medications? Another critical question. Having a written list on your phone in any language that you can show them is genuinely one of the smartest things you can do.
Does it hurt when I press here? A physical exam question, you'll typically respond simply yes, a little, or no. That's fine.
Have you had this before? Asking about medical history related to the current issue? Yes, I had something similar last year. Or, no, this is new for me.
Now, I want to share something here because I think it makes all this vocabulary feel more real and less abstract.
Please, go ahead. I want to hear this one.
I have a friend who moved to a new country and had a health scare fairly early on. Nothing life-threatening in the end, but genuinely frightening in the moment. Sharp chest pain out of nowhere.
Oh, that sounds genuinely terrifying, especially somewhere new.
She told me the scariest part wasn't actually the pain. It was standing at the emergency room desk, panicking, and realizing she didn't know how to describe what was happening in English quickly enough.
That's such a specific kind of fear, the medical emergency itself, plus the added layer of a language barrier at the worst possible moment.
She said she just kept pointing at her chest saying hurts, hurts, until a nurse who spoke a little of her language happened to walk by and help translate.
That must have been such a relief in that moment, but also probably scary that it depended on luck rather than preparation.
Exactly, and afterward, once everything turned out okay, she told me something I've never forgotten. She said, I promised myself I'd never again be that unprepared with words that actually matter.
What did she do after that?
She made a small card, actually, that she kept in her wallet for over a year. On it, she'd written her allergies, her medications, and key phrases like sharp pain, it's radiating, I can't breathe properly, just in case.
That's such a smart, practical response to a frightening experience, turning fear into genuine preparation.
She told me later that card probably saved me from panicking the next time something happened because I already had the words ready instead of searching for them in the moment.
That's exactly why we're doing this episode. Having the vocabulary ready before you need it changes everything about how these situations feel.
Now, let's cover the critical emergency phrases because these specifically could genuinely matter in a serious situation.
Call an ambulance, direct, clear, essential. Don't overthink the phrasing in an emergency. This simple sentence gets the point across immediately.
I need help. Simple and universally understood. Sometimes in a crisis, simple is exactly what you need. Not complicated grammar.
I think I'm having a heart attack. A specific critical phrase. If you or someone near you experiences chest pain, pain radiating to the arm, and shortness of breath, this sentence needs to come out immediately.
I can't breathe. Absolutely critical. Absolutely urgent. No need for any additional explanation in the moment. This alone should get immediate attention.
I'm allergic to, followed by the substance. Critical if you're having an allergic reaction and need immediate treatment. I'm allergic to penicillin. I think that's what's happening.
Where is the nearest hospital? Essential if you're in an unfamiliar place and need to get somewhere quickly. Worth knowing even before you need it.
I'm having an allergic reaction. Distinct from just saying you're allergic to something. This signals it's actively happening right now, in real time.
And one more, genuinely important. Please write it down. If a doctor is speaking too quickly or using unfamiliar terms, this simple request lets you process the information at your own pace afterward.
That phrase is honestly brilliant for language learners specifically. It takes the pressure off understanding everything instantly in real time.
Now, I want to add something lighter here for a second because not everything about doctor visits has to be heavy.
Oh, please, go for it.
My friend, the one with the wallet card story, told me that months later, at a completely unrelated checkup, the doctor asked her to describe her pain and she just held up her card instead of trying to explain.
Wait, she actually showed the doctor the card?
She did, and the doctor apparently just laughed and said, "Well, that's the most organized patient I've had all week."
The group chat with her friends about that must have been priceless. That's such a great, resourceful moment, honestly.
Right? Sometimes the most practical solution really is the funniest one in hindsight. Preparation doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to work.
Now, let's cover a few more everyday medical phrases that come up constantly, even outside of emergencies.
I need a prescription refill. Extremely common and practical. I'm running low on my medication. I need a prescription refill.
Is this covered by insurance? A practical financial question that comes up constantly in medical settings, especially in certain countries.
Can I get a second opinion? Perfectly acceptable professional phrase for wanting another doctor's perspective on something serious. Nothing rude about asking this at all.
What are the side effects? Essential question before starting any new medication. What are the side effects of this, and should I take it with food?
How long will it take to recover? A completely normal, expected question after any diagnosis or procedure. Doctors expect and welcome this question.
Now, let's talk about the pharmacy, because that's often a second conversation you'll have right after leaving the doctor's office, and it has its own specific vocabulary.
How often should I take this? Essential dosing question. How often should I take this, and for how many days?
Should I take this with food? Extremely common and important question, since some medications work very differently on an empty stomach.
Can I take this with my other medications? Critical safety question, especially if you're managing multiple prescriptions at once.
Is this available over the counter, or do I need a prescription? Useful distinction since rules vary enormously between countries.
Do you have a generic version? A practical, money-saving question that pharmacists hear constantly and are always happy to answer.
And one more area worth mentioning briefly, telehealth appointments, since these have become so common now. Can you hear me okay? I think we got disconnected. Can you see this rash through the camera?
That's such a good addition, actually. Video appointments have their own small vocabulary quirks that genuinely didn't exist as commonly even 10 years ago.
I want to add one more genuinely important category before we move on, the vocabulary for asking for language help directly, because you're allowed to ask for this, and most people don't realize it.
Oh, that's such an important thing to say clearly. Tell us more.
Do you have an interpreter available? Many hospitals and clinics, especially larger ones, have interpretation services, sometimes even by phone, specifically for this exact situation.
Can you speak more slowly, please? Such a simple, respectful request. Nobody in a medical setting will ever think less of you for asking this.
Can you repeat that in simpler words? Perfectly acceptable, especially with medical terminology that even native speakers often don't fully understand on the first try.
I understand better in writing. Could you write that down? A wonderful combination of two things we already covered, asking for clarity and asking for something written.
And here's something I think is genuinely worth saying directly. Asking for language help in a medical setting isn't a weakness, and it isn't something to feel embarrassed about.
Not at all. Doctors want accurate information from you above everything else. A 5-second request for clarity is nothing compared to a misunderstanding that leads to the wrong treatment.
Exactly. Your health matters more than any temporary discomfort about asking for help with the language. I think what's beautiful about today's episode is that it connects language learning directly to something as fundamental as your own safety and well-being.
Exactly. This isn't vocabulary for impressing anyone or sounding sophisticated. This is vocabulary that protects you, and that's genuinely one of the most valuable things language can do.
If you're living somewhere in a second language, we genuinely encourage you to do what my friend did. Write down your key phrases, your allergies, your medications, somewhere easy to access, just in case.
It takes 10 minutes to prepare, and it could make an enormous difference in a moment when you're stressed, scared, or in pain and need to communicate quickly.
And honestly, once you have that card or that note ready, you can stop thinking about it. It just sits there quietly doing its job until the day you might actually need it.
Preparation like that isn't about living in fear of emergencies. It's about giving yourself one less thing to worry about if something ever does happen.
All right, let's do our word tour for today, covering everything we talked about.
Let's start with describing that something's wrong. I'm not feeling well. The basic, versatile starting phrase. Something's not right, a more urgent version when you can't identify the problem. I've been feeling off for a few days, for symptoms building gradually over time.
Now, let's move into specific symptoms you might need to describe. I have a fever, and add the number if you know it. I feel nauseous, specifically that stomach-turning feeling. I threw up, direct and medically necessary information. I have chills, feeling cold and shivery, often with fever. My whole body aches, widespread pain often from infection. I'm congested and I have a runny nose, two distinct nasal symptoms. I'm dizzy or lightheaded, that spinning or unsteady feeling. I'm short of breath. Essential emergency vocabulary for breathing difficulty.
Now, describing pain specifically, since doctors ask very particular things about it. On a scale of 1 to 10, have your number ready. Sharp pain versus dull pain, two completely different sensations. It comes and goes versus its constant crucial diagnostic information. It's throbbing, a pulsing, rhythmic pain. It's radiating when pain spreads from one area to another. It hurts when followed by the specific action that triggers it.
Now, the questions doctors typically ask during an appointment: what are your symptoms? Have your list ready before you walk in? When did this start? Have a specific timeline ready? Have you taken anything for it? About medications already tried? Do you have any allergies? Answer accurately and completely, always. Are you currently taking any medications? Keep a written list ready. Have you had this before about related medical history?
And now, the critical emergency phrases everyone should have ready. Call an ambulance, direct and essential. I need help, simple and universally understood. I think I'm having a heart attack, a specific, life-saving phrase. I can't breathe, absolutely critical and urgent. I'm allergic to, followed by the substance, critical for immediate treatment. Where is the nearest hospital worth knowing before you need it? I'm having an allergic reaction, signals it's happening right now. Please write it down. Takes the pressure off understanding everything instantly.
And finally, everyday medical phrases beyond emergencies. I need a prescription refill, extremely common and practical. Is this covered by insurance? A practical financial question. Can I get a second opinion? Perfectly professional and acceptable. What are the side effects? Essential before starting new medication. How long will it take to recover? Completely normal and expected.
And the pharmacy, plus a quick note on telehealth. How often should I take this? The essential dosing question. Should I take this with food? Important for how the medication works. Can I take this with my other medications? A critical safety check. Do you have a generic version? A practical, money-saving question. Can you hear me okay? And can you see this through the camera? For telehealth appointments.
Asking for language help directly. Do you have an interpreter available? Many clinics offer this exact service. Can you speak more slowly, please? A simple, respectful request. Can you repeat that in simpler words? Perfectly acceptable. Even native speakers ask this. I understand better in writing. Could you write that down, combining clarity and written confirmation?
Your challenge this week, write down 3 phrases from today that you'd want ready in an emergency and keep them somewhere accessible. Your phone, your wallet,